everyone. Coach Sullivan here again with MGS Coaching Football. I'd like to thank my subscribers and those who haven't yet. I really hope you do. I finished my 38th year coaching football as a defensive coordinator, but over that span, I've been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. So I see I got a little bit of a shine problem again. I'm a one-man operation here. I'm also in charge of lighting. I might have to fire myself in that respect. So all you can't see really right there is the word key. I apologize. I'll have to speak to myself after this presentation today. What I want to talk to you about is what we call a cowboy dog. So it's a member of the dog family, okay? And it's unique in that it's position specific, but not a named dog. So non-subscribers, you're going to have to push that subscribe button, okay? So what that will mean is I go through the key terms and then bring it to life over here is it's specific to the pass strength, okay? So first key term, D-crash or the dog, okay? This is the corner, hence cowboy, but opposite the lizard rip. So it's specific. It's going to be the corner, but it's going to be the one who's opposite the lizard rip. So I purposely am only doing this with the ball on the hash, as you'll see. So I'll add that up here in the title. But you can do it in the middle of the field as well. Okay, but now you'll get a definite flavor as to both corners executing it, okay, being away from the pass strength. So that's the reason for it. Okay, when I'm showing it to you ball and hash, but you can do it middle of the field. So by being the dog or the D-crash blitzer, you have force on the run, cage on the pass, meaning outside cage. You also are the boot defender, and there's one scenario where the back's going to flare to you that you'll peel with. That I'll show you down here, okay? The next term, C-scrape, that's the first inside linebacker on the call side. And so the C-scrape is literally, it's not a read on the snap. He is scraping to the C-gap landmark, which I'll show you. And then he's going to read the offensive tackle and go butt side. Okay? Then the lucky Ringo, number 3, again, that's going to be called by the corner opposite the lizard rip. So lizard rip's going to come first. Okay? And then corner away is going to make the lucky Ringo call. All right? I'll even give you the code name as we do this. Okay? So what that will involve is the screw timing based on what we call snap indicators and then what we call the creep technique. Okay? So the premise of our dog family, is to get 4 off the side. So how we accomplish that, okay? Now that being said, when we have a stick tag, number 5, we will only have 3 off the side, but there's a reason why we do it, and I'll bring that in. So the DN call side sticks A, which bumps nose A away, but I'll give you the situation why we would use the stick tag. So I think you see where this is going. Number 6, the A-gap defenders are the draw middle screen defenders. Number 7, the B and or C-gap defenders, they play what we call running back sift for screen or into the flat. Okay, so based upon your gap responsibility, that determines your assignment here in a dog blitz, including a dog stick. All right? So as I mentioned not too long ago, right, this is a pass situation blitz, which you probably already figured was the case, but I've also used it as a zone reader and RPO changeup, but it is predominantly used in pass situations. All righty? And then the last one here is important, and I don't need to draw up anything new. I have a new diagram to show you what we call stickball tag. And again, why we would choose to use the stickball tag. Okay? And that's the inside linebacker opposite the lucky Ringo is going to delay plug B gap. And again, the scenario when we would choose to use it. And everything is based upon what the offense is doing. The offensive scheme tells us what we need to do. Okay, so it's not that obviously we're perfect and we're never wrong. That's not necessarily the case, but more often than not, if we exercise what we're supposed to do based upon what the offense is doing, we should be in the right position. Okay? So, with all of this now, I'm going to, go up top first. And in each scenario, ball is on the left hash. Okay? Down here as well. But the pass strength is going to be different. And again, that's why, as I mentioned earlier, we're showing this to you with the ball in the hash, but yes, we do run it as well, middle of the field. Okay? So first of all, right, ball's on the hash. This is 11 personnel in both. Okay? Excuse me. Pass strength is to the right, so it's a rip, 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 rip. So remember how this thing starts. Corner opposite the lizard rip. So now the boundary, okay, is making the lucky call. And he says Colorado. That's the generic code for both corners, Colorado. So whether it's the boundary or whether it's the field, when they're supposed to be blitzing, they're just saying Colorado. Okay, makes it simple. So he becomes the dog. So Lucky triggers Louie. So we'll show you how that plays out in the coverage with the safeties. Okay. So before I mention anything else, you have to, non-subscribers, hit the subscribe button. Okay. Trio coverage. So you go to my Zone Blitz coverage playlist, non-subscribers, when you hit the button. Okay. Outside linebackers, hot 2, hot tight end, hot 1. The safeties are going to rotate, spin left to the Lucky. They're all reading surface first, run a pass, then they're hot on their mitt. So I don't mind telling you that, non-subscribers, but the rest of it, you're going to have to push the button. Okay? So from this point forward, I'm going to utilize blue for you, when we diagram those involved in the blitz as well as safety rotation. Okay? So, D-crash, right dog, Colorado. It's the boundary in this case. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Okay? In order to be force on the run, cage on the pass, in order to play the boot, in order to peel with that one scenario, which I will show you down here, they have to have a specific landmark, which they do. Okay? So first off, now I'm going to skip down to here, right? Screw timing, creep technique. We have what we call snap indicators, like I mentioned at the beginning. So in the gun here, right, pistol, see it's 11 gun Dallas pistol ball in the hash, not subscribers, but here's the personnel group, is fist pump, point at the ground, lift the foot, clap, hands up, whatever starts the snap process, hence we call snap indicator, that starts the screw timing, which for a corner is moving in toward the box. Okay, so it's going to be a slightly different creep technique. So again, snap indicator starts the screw timing, which is executed by using the screw creep technique. Excuse me. All right, so here, let me clean this up a little bit. The corner stance, the foot closest to the line of scrimmage is the up foot. That's the stagger. That gets them cocked inside so they can see one. You got to read two, see the surface, okay? So now their creep, you feel like this, the foot close to the line of scrimmage moves first. Okay, that's the little bit of a difference. So now as he's creeping in, the landmark is the heels of his rover. So he's never offsides. He's not going to be offsides with a freeze count. He can see the football, and on the foot movement of the football is when he's going to initiate his blitz. Okay? And that up foot, he's going to have the heel up so he can dig off that toe and cross over, right? Dig, crossover. So the aiming point in the backfield for the dog, we don't want him any closer than roughly a yard or so outside the rover. He's at his heels for depth. he's about a yard outside. So on the snap of the football, he can head to that deepest landmark. Because again, he's got to get force on the run, outside cage of the pass. He's got to be able to play boot and peel if there's a flare to him. Okay, so there is one off the side. All righty, so this is a D crash, right? D gap starts on the outside hip of the tight end. So there it is. That's his landmark. Okay. Now, C scrape, right? First inside linebacker call side. Mike, it's codenamed Michigan. So he hears it's lucky. He's going Michigan, Michigan, Michigan because he knows he's on the left. On the snap of the football, C scrape. It's not a read. He's heading to the outside edge of the tackle. That starts the C gap. Again, you got to give him tangible landmarks or players will drift. Okay? So what's meant by, excuse me, read OT, go butt side. Okay? If the tackle's blocking out like that, then the C-scrape defender is going to be butt side up into the B gap. Okay, I'll give you a different look down here. All right, but there's number 2. To accomplish 4 off a side, DN call side, slants B, nose slants A to the call. So there's 3, there's 4. All right, again, we're attacking the protection. We're attacking that one side. Okay, so I don't mind doing this right now. Opposite, defensive end has outside cage. All right, so now we're going to skip down to the gap responsibilities, right? A-gap defenders have draw. Well, there's one A-gap. The inside linebacker away from the call has running back 2, draw or Q. Running back 2, draw or Q. So if the running back sets here for the draw, he's that A-gap draw player. Okay? This defensive end will retrace. If the running back comes to him in any way, shape, or form, he has the running back. Okay, he's got him. All right, so you're with me there. If the running back goes away from him and it's not the draw, that's where he moves in. That's the cue. He's going to mirror, which is his base technique. Non-subscribers, you got to push that button, learn about our match quarters. That's his base pass responsibility. Boom, done. All right. So the other thing here is, right, running back sift, screen a flat. So let me clean this up a little bit here. Remember the running back flare, I'll show you down here. So I'm going to do the running back in black, right? So the running back comes outside into the C-gap area. So he's inside or underneath the dog. The dog keeps going. He keeps blitzing. He goes to the Q. The C-scrape, whether he's in B-gap or not, he now peels off and takes the running back. That's another way to be a blitz beater. Get him into the flat quick. Okay, that's what's meant by BC, running back sift, screener flat. There it is. Okay, pretty straightforward. So then the other aspect of this whole thing is, how do we spin the safeties, right? Well, safety away from the call, it's a Louis on the snap, not before. He rotates middle, as you see, middle third. Safety on the side of the call, okay, he has what we call a clamp technique. Again, on the snap, not before. He works for width at depth, meaning he stays at 12. He starts at 12, he stays at 12. And then as he works for width at depth, he keeps, obviously, vertical leverage at 12, but he keeps inside leverage so that the number 1 can't get butt side on him. And then he plays number 1 hot from depth. If they throw him a 2-yard pattern, go up, rally up, right, be under control, make a good short tackle. We do not want to screw down in case he makes a move, makes a miss, it's touchdown, it's a double move, or it's just a flat-out go route. While he's screwing downhill, be two ships passing in the night. Don't want it. Not a big gambler. Okay? So that is the complete straight dog. Okay? So what I'm going to do down here is I'll bring in the stick tag, because I'm not going to get into all that much detail again. I'm going to add the stick tag, stick ball, and then that running back flare. That's the one thing the dog's going to peel to. Okay? So I'm going to handle 9 and the peel down here as well as the stick. So peel, 5, and 9 I'm going to handle down here. All right, you with me? Okay, good. So it's still 11 personnel, ball still on the left hash, but now this is what we call fib. Formation into boundary. So it's a Liz. So now over here, it's a Ringo, right? It's going to be the same Colorado, except now the field corner is executing it. So non-subscribers, you have to push the button, but I'll give you this. When the ball's on the hash, the field, hence his name, and the free go to the field. Boundary, hence his name, and the whip go into the boundary. That's fixed. When they see balls on the hash, they just set themselves that way. Okay, so this is why I purposely put the ball in the hash so you could see both corners. Okay, so it's a Liz, which means it's a Ringo, which triggers the Roger, right? So everything's the same that way. It's going to be the same creep technique. Boom. He's got the same landmark heels, about a yard outside, snap of the ball. Right? Deepest tip. There it is. Right? Boom, done. Everything's the same. So now, let me show you that running back flare. So let's take care of this peel one right now. This is the only scenario that will get the dog to peel, right? Get out of the blitz. Whether this is a flare blitz beater, which a lot of teams will do against us, they'll utilize that, try and beat the blitz that way. Well, that is when he is going to peel off and take it. So it's no longer a blitz beater. And then obviously if it's a speed option, so that's the pitch back, well, he's got force, so he'd be peeling anyway. Okay, so there's the one scenario. So that one's out. Okay, let me now make the running back part of a different kind of protection so I can show you a little change up for the C scrape. Okay, so let's say we got a full slide protection and the running back's fitting off the edge, right? So he's got a decision make. Is he going to block the dog or is he going to block the C scrape, right? Who's still going butt side, but that means he's staying in the C gap. So there are two blitzers. The running back has to decide who he's going to pick up. Okay. So then straight dog, right? Slant B, slant A. There you go, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Say no more. Okay. So that takes care of that. So then now down here, the stick tag, which I said I was going to run with you. So let's get back to a more familiar protection. It's a half slide with a run back inserting into B gap, right? So now C scrape is butt side into B. Dog keeps going, right? He's unaccounted for. So now when we run a stick, so here we go, stick, defensive end call side, sticks A, which bumps nose A away. So now we only have the 3, 1, 2, 3, but now we have much better A gap support for the drawer middle screen. Because now the backside linebacker should be unblocked. These guys will be occupied with the stick and the A gap, which would make him unblocked. He's a bonus player at that point. That's the reason why we would run the stick tag. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So now when you start running the stick, because now I want to bring in the stick ball tag. Offenses always kind of seem to think they got the answer as well. The cat and mouse chess game. That's why football is so awesome. This is when we would utilize the stick ball tag. If they're going to play a six-man protection, meaning they're going to keep the running back in, no problem. What we'll do is we tell him on the snap, you come down step, pivot like you always do, eyes to two, and then the delay blitz B gap. The protection will set itself because he's working outside. So the tackle's there. We're going to get some help here. Try and cover up. See, these three are occupied by the stick, as I just mentioned. The B gap is going to be unaccounted for, most likely. So between the stick, the nose and the A, and now the delay plug-in of the backer opposite, that's could be potentially too much to handle. We now have six guys because it's a +1 in the box, and they only have 6 in protection. And the back should be eaten up, so to speak, by the C-scrape, so that makes the dog blitzer, quote-unquote, unblocked. Okay? Delay here, protection sets, unblocked. And that's why we would use the stick ball tag. Okay? So this is our cowboy. So it's going to be the corner, and it's going to be the corner opposite the lizard rip. So when it comes from the boundary, it tends to be even a little bit more effective because it's a shorter distance. Okay, and it's an awful lot here. Teams tend to protect to the field, but not always. You'll have to do that film study. That'll be another reason why we might wait to call a ball in the hash if we see that. Okay. But as I said at the beginning, to my subscribers, I thank you. And non-subscribers, I really, really hope I've made the point. Please subscribe. All you do is push the button. It doesn't cost a thing. I'd also like to thank YouTube and to everyone. Questions, please reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com. It's starting to happen more. And when it does, I'm learning. It's a lot of football. Hope I'm helping the person or people on the other side of the screen. And that's why we're doing this. So let's go.